Alright friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kristen and this is Growing Zone 9B. So it's the weekend and I have a little surprise to show you guys. My head's stuffy because we've been out in the yard all weekend. And we have the red Jacaba Tacoba. I will show you guys. There it is. If you're interested in buying one. They do have to be kind of babied and maintained, but here is the fruit that grows off of them. I've shown you guys this before, but what's happening is I had a whole bunch on the tree, and there's a couple here, some more up there, there's some over here. You can kind of see them throughout the tree. What happened is our lizards are getting them, so I have to get them off the tree, and I wanted to show you guys before the lizards actually eat them all. They're really good. You don't eat this. I don't eat the skin, so you just get the skin off, and then there's the inside white creamy like juicy middle, and it's got seeds. So just eat that, work your way around the seed, and then I honestly just toss the seed out. They're delicious, they're healthy, they like dappled light, and so I do keep this one in a bucket, and the reason why I do that, it would be much better in the ground. It'd probably produce a lot more, but what happens is we get frosts here, and this plant does not appreciate frost at all. And so unless you've got like a greenhouse or something, this would be ideal for some place that's got like a really like large greenhouse that can really hold plants like this, like trees basically in them. So this is my most expensive plant that I actually own on the property, as far as the cost for me, but it is a beautiful plant to have. It's something very different that a lot of people just don't eat, but it is not for a beginner gardener, that is for sure, because you do have to kind of baby it. So it's not an investment that I personally would recommend making unless you had planned on really paying attention to this plant. But these are all ripe, and like I said, the you can tell because they get kind of squishy, but the lizards will come and they will eat them, and so I have to get them off the plant. So I wanted to show you guys that before they are actually all gone. All right, and the next thing I'm actually really quite excited about is our pool is finally full. So after a hard day's worth of work today, which we will be doing because it's actually the morning, we will be getting into our new little pool. So this is actually a 10-foot pool. We did have an 8-foot. 10 feet makes a big difference because we are now very tight on the walkways, but it's okay. Like I said, to some people this would be kind of like a little trashy pool, but to me, I love it because I don't have to deal with this pool long term, and that actually makes me really happy, because I just want something to cool down after working in the garden all day. We do have a lake, and so to me that's a giant pool, and so who really needs like a big in-ground pool? Some people like it, an in-ground pool, but an in-ground pool is honestly just not for me at this time in my life. So, and I don't think it'll ever be. My parents have a pool, my brother has a pool, so if I ever really need to get into an in-ground pool, I can just go to their house and just enjoy what they have. But it's a beautiful morning. We have quite a bit of work that we have to get done. I've still got the giant pile of mulch that I have been working on. We have been putting it in these beds to get we've been digging out half the beds, which has been a lot of work for us, and we are implementing the new soil. We have the ocean soil that I've showed you guys in the past. We've been implementing that. It's got the bat guano in it, and so that seems to be working well. It is made for potted plants, in potted gardens and stuff. Like, so really I feel like my grow beds are kind of that way, and so we are doing all new like soil in there, and then I am adding the mulch in on top. And then honestly, some of the beds I've been kind of turning the mulch in. I did buy from Hoss, which I hadn't. This will be the first year that I do have some other containers, but this will be the first year that I'm going to be using a Hoss Tools starter kit. And so I will be going over with you guys how to start plants from seed and kind of grow them like you would see if you're at Lowe's or Home Depot, so that you can kind of get a nice start to your plants this year. I think that we've had some issues with growing and in the past, and so because I've been just starting my seeds in the bed. Now I'll still continue to do my arugula and some of my other brassicas, like the mustard greens. They will just go straight seed to the bed. But I'm going to try to do some other plants this year, which I will go over with you guys in the future. But we're going to actually just go ahead and straight plant those in the starter kits. So that's going to be interesting, something new we're going to do on the channel. All right, and so the other thing that we're going to be working on today, I want to show you guys my pineapple. It's still not ready yet. My pineapple is not, it's growing still. It's getting bigger, but it's not there yet. I think it's got another week or two before it's going to be quite ready. So I'm going to go show you guys that. That's what I was going to show you guys the other day when I got zapped by the wasp, which I'm obviously doing fine. That is part of the reason, honestly, why I'm still stuffy, is because my leg got really swollen and it like wrapped around all the way to my knee and stuff. But we've treated it, so I'm doing much better. But you know, it weakens your immune system when you have those things that happen, and it causes my like allergies to kind of escalate a little more. So that's just how I react to it, but everybody's different. So one of the projects that we're going to be working on today, because it's just such a beautiful morning, I'm going to be taking out these pups. You can see here that I've got pups growing. We've got the mulch down. We've been mulching and turning this bed under. So I've got 3 pups here, and I want to get them out because what's going to happen is this is the Cavendish banana. It's really going to take away from my main stock here, and I need to make sure that this year my goal is to get some bananas, so I want to go ahead and take care of that. Over in this bed, the things that did survive, you can see the tomato died, which was fine, so we've implemented the mulch here. I'm going to start working that into the ground. But it's interesting because this side actually did fairly well. I threw a lot of nutrients back to it, the bed, and so what I ended up doing is I've still got basil, so I'm grateful for that. We've been making a lot of basil tea. And then I've got, this is the peppermint still is doing very, very well. And I've got, this is all lemon balm in the back. So I love the lemon balm. It's wonderful. It's been great to be implementing into our teas. And so that's been really wonderful. Over here we have the Mexican tarragon. This was just what I bought from Lowe's. And so you can barely see it, but it is in there. Little pretty, just leaves growing right there. So we've definitely had to move some plants around just because of how large this pool is. I did have over here, I had that yellow bucket that had the new Concord grape in it. Unfortunately, the container is just not large enough it's too large to fit there, and so the pool is really taken over. You can see I do not have much space there. So I have moved it over here to this area. We have started cleaning this up, and then this is the area that I'm putting it. I hope it'll do okay here. It is. I know that these grapes really just do not do well in direct heat here because of the zone that we're in. It's just so hot. So I'm hoping that it's going to be okay. I got that from Stark Brothers. They're now calling themselves Stark Bros. So whatever makes you happy, but it's working right now. I haven't seen any like growth or anything that would indicate that it's actually alive and doing well, but it did come bare root, so that's what it's looking like right now. We also have to finish cleaning up the rest of the garden. I've got to implement more mulch. So that is what is on the plans today. My fiance, he had been digging out, we're still trying to get the root base out of the where the bougainvillea was, and so we've got just a lot of work in that area. So that's what I'm saying, everyone. You know, not every video is just, oh, look at what I'm doing, look at all that, you know, like we've just got a lot of work, and people, I just don't think realize how much you've got to really stay on top of these gardens. So over here, this is where we are digging out with the future intention of really trying to get those bananas. So that's my goal today. I'm going to keep helping him to rip out these roots, and then I'm going to clear this area up and get it ready for the bananas to go into place. All right, now hopefully I won't get whopped again with bees or wasps. I've come out fairly early so that way hopefully I can avoid some of that. But there's the pineapple I was throwing. You can see there's some mulch in it because I've been throwing some mulch over here. I gotta spread around. I'm gonna get the weeds out. There's always weeds that are popping up in the garden. But yeah, you can see the rest of the pineapples are doing really well. I expect probably like these 3 right here to kind of start taking off soon as far as fruiting at some point. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, really right now we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 pineapple plants in this area, and that's really just nice for us. My fiance doesn't really eat pineapple. There's a lot of vegetables he just doesn't care for, but my family loves them, so we're gonna keep growing them. And he's gonna get over here and weed eat. This is what happens, like when we are constantly standing on top of this stuff. But as you can see, like, this is a beautiful purple flower that comes up off of this, but I got to get this cleaned up. And then there's just native plants that just will start to come through the rocks. We have not attempted to spray anything just because I don't really want the pesticides. So to stand on top of it, people are like, oh, you know, it's an easy task. But what happens is like when the neighbors cut their grass and stuff, like, stuff just flies over here and it gets caught up in the rocks, or if you're weed eating, and it's just, this is just what happens. And honestly, some of this stuff is just native, birds drop it, so it's not like a neighbor situation or anything. I'm not saying anything negative about them at all. I love them. What I'm saying is that either Mother Earth, nature, you're always like on, you know, having to clean up and do things. Like people, a lot of people on YouTube make it look out to be just like, oh, it's just rainbows and butterflies and you don't ever have to weed or do anything like that. But that's not actually true if you want to keep a decent garden. Now, some people like it very wild and they like their wild plants growing, but there are just some areas that I have to really kind of keep very clean. So let's go back and check out the mulch bed, and I'll show you how we're getting that cleaned up right now. All right, so we've been putting a lot of mulch around the plants, just basically allowing them to just keep the roots cool, and it'll also feed the plants when it starts to break down. So this is my plum over here. And so we're just kind of like making that work with the mulch. And then this is the pineapple guava. Now this one's kind of in the shade. You can see the difference. This one over here is much bigger. And then this one's kind of like shaded out. So yeah, right back there, this plant right here is actually an elderberry. It's a native elderberry. So it's actually produced a couple of berries, but not enough for me to kind of mess with. You know, with elderberry, you got to be really careful because they can make you sick, supposedly, if you eat them raw. So you got to cook them and preserve them and have a special way about them. So do your research before you plant that in. All right, so here's our mulch bed. You can see it's definitely dwindled down. My fiance has been helping me, and we have been doing this together because it's literally been like about 5 days that we've been working at this mulch. As you can see, there's a lot of like dirt in it, and so this is really dirty mulch. This isn't as clean as I would like for it to be, but you know what, it was free, and the dirt itself will eventually settle, and then we can keep turning it. And we are just going to take what I don't use from this, we're going to just start spreading it through the yard, because honestly, since they've taken out that tree. We've got the hammock area right here, and I am thinking about trying to implement some type of tree in this area just so we can keep the shade around here, because we just don't have a lot of shade. Pine trees are nasty in my opinion and don't really do a lot of shade. But you can see here that we've planted, the bananas have been down here. We've had those are my brother's. We planted those maybe back a year ago or so, and they're doing really great. And maybe it's been less than a year, but those came from my brother's, and so we have put some mulch around those areas as well. I think this is katuk, if I remember correctly. I haven't really, if it's not, I'll put in the description above this what this is, but I don't really mess with it a lot. I don't we just don't eat it much. But anyway, I don't really do much with this plant, but it is back here. It is a plant that can feed you, and so I just leave it here. I did put some mulch around it. You can see like there's a lot of moss that gets like caught up in it and stuff, so I kind of have to keep it clean, otherwise the moss will suffocate this plant. But this plant is not really native to us here, but it does grow well. But like I said, I don't really, it's not a plant that I come out and just chew on and eat, but you could if you had to. And that's kind of why I like it back here, is because a lot of people don't even realize that it is an edible plant. And that's kind of how you want to be setting up your garden a little bit. If somebody just came in and or you know, something happened, and like I've seen people come up on my dock and try to get my food, they would know that obviously I have a garden back here. And some of these plants that are just planted around, they don't know what they are, and so therefore they're not likely to just eat off of a tree that is not obviously a fruiting type tree. That's going to be like your greens, like you'd add that to a salad or something like that. But anyway, friends, so we've got a lot of work to do today. I really appreciate you guys coming along with me. I'm going to show you as soon as this is obviously all done. We always take those little trips around the garden, but today is just going to be a lot of hard work, and sometimes that's what we need. All right, friends, until next time, love one another, be kind, and I cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.